a question that everyone is concerned about. The kind of debt we have, the expected borrowing that we have, and the sustainability of this. Have we lost any hope of consolidation that this continually will have to be sustained through debt? Joshua.
I think from where the fiscal performance of the country is currently, we are unable to be able to meet the demands of the expenditure of 4.8 trillion. We expected that as we try to grow revenue, because you've seen that we've been trying to collect as much as we can year on year. So this year we are targeting to collect 3.6 trillion. So as long as we continuously, gradually try to broaden the tax base, increase taxation where we can, we'll continue to have that aspect of borrowing until that point where we'll be able to meet our demands. And also it's a bit tricky because you realize that the expenditures at times we commit earlier than the time we get the funds. So you have to pay a contractor today, but you're expecting to collect revenue from KRA or from other government agencies at a later date. So that issue will always be there, but the question is, how long do we how long do we have these debts? Is it a short-term debt or long-term debt?
Yes.
That's a big question.
If you look at the plans for borrowing, because that we're already talking about it, there's the issue of securitization of some of the levies we have. The fuel levy has already been securitized. Bichanga. Now we are seeing, anticipating a securitization of something else, the housing levy. Are we okay with Bichanga? Okay, unfortunately, there's something that needs to be sorted out. So still to you, Bwana Kamwere.
Yes.
Are we getting deeper and deeper into debt? And this is long-term debt.
Currently, the government is trying to reduce the long-term debts, and that's what we are doing. The government is proposing on broadening the tax base. And that's why you've heard that we've had many cries from, Kenyans saying that this sector was not taxed before and now it's being demanded for taxation. And that's why some of the measures, for example, the e-TIMS compliance, where every business needs to be e-TIMS compliance, that's trying to broaden the tax base. So as long as we're able to broaden the tax base, so that because initially the people who are paying are the formal sector and formalized organizations. So you find that when there are new tax measures, it was only affecting, for example, the employed people and people in informal sector who are not in the tax net. So the government progressively wants to reduce the deficits on the budget and to reduce the borrowing, but we can only do this when we raise more revenue, and this raising of more revenue, we cannot continue milking the same cow, so we need to bring in more other people into the tax net. That's what the government is doing, and eventually we'll get there. But of course, the commitment of the government on public spending is very critical for us to be able to achieve those aspirations.
When we talk about government spending, you've seen the proposed budget by the United Alternative Government, who say that it is possible to reduce this budget by about 500 billion shillings. 500 billion actually, 500 billion shillings.
Yes, yes.
How practical is that? Or is it just because they know they don't have the burden of implementing this? Do you think it's possible to reduce this budget by that much?
It's possible to reduce the budget spending because you realize, for example, yesterday the Controller of Budget released reports on how the spending has been done for the past 9 months of this financial year. And she mentioned about a lot of mismanagement of funds, where we will use a lot of money on catering, on domestic travel, international travel. Some of these expenditures we can be able to reduce because as we speak now, we are seeing that every day our ministers and our, senior government officials are out of the city every weekend or every day, churning out money, having a lot of, delegations coming to their offices. Whereas we can still be effective as a government, but we don't have to spend as much. So yes, I do agree that we can still manage on the public expenditure because the issue of this country is not the revenue that we generate from the citizen. The issue is on spending. That's why we keep on increasing the budget. For example, last year it was not at 4.8 trillion. So we keep on increasing because we want to accommodate extraneous spending. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's now bring in Bwana Wycliffe Bichanga into this conversation. Bichanga, there's been a lot of talk about government spending. And obviously, we look like we are a bit overzealous when we do a budget, 4.8 trillion shillings against a collection of about 3 trillion.